No, please, not that f***ing song. Jaws, released in 1975, sits alongside loads of other horror movies released in that decade, such as Alien, The Omen, The Exorcist, and Halloween, as well as many, many others that to this day are regarded as classics in film. Jaws had a generation of cinema goers afraid to go back in the water, even though statistically you're more likely to be killed by a cow. Peter Benchley's novel turned into Steven Spielberg's famous movie with John Williams' brilliant score, including that intro. Jaws won 3 Oscars in 1976, but is the film still as effective today as it was 44 years ago? Here's my review of Jaws. Amity Island is the place to be this July 4th weekend. Sun, sea, and sand are on offer, but then the body of a teenage girl, Chrissy, gets washed up on shore, dismembered. Initially it's thought to be a shark attack, but the coroner is then convinced by Mayor Larry Vaughn that this was a boating accident, as rumours of a shark attack might scare away those precious tourist dollars and cripple the town financially. New Chief of Police Martin Brody is caught between keeping people safe by closing the beach and the whole town wanting business as usual. The beach remains open, but soon another victim is taken. A little boy whose torn up Lilo is all that remains. A bounty of $3,000 is placed on the shark, which everyone with a boat and or weapon wants a piece of, except Quint, who says he'll do it for $10,000. In amongst the madness, an oceanographer named Matt Hooper arrives and befriends Brody. He examines the remains of Chrissy and confirms that she did indeed die by shark attack. One group of hunters brings back a shark and try to claim the bounty, with Hooper matter-of-factly stating that this is a tiger shark and they're looking for a great white. This is confirmed with an autopsy on the tiger shark and a tooth found on the wrecked boat. The beach opens that weekend with helicopters and patrol boats ready to kill any shark that comes close, but only catching a couple of pranksters. The real shark is over in a calmer section of the water known as the pool, where Brody's son is. He lives, but a nearby adult checking on the kids is eaten. At this point, Larry agrees to pay the $10,000 for Quint's services. He, Brody, and Hooper set out on Quint's ship, the Orca, to catch the shark using a system involving harpoons, flotation barrels, and guns. Quint is reluctant to have the two shipmates, but they bond over drinking and comparing scars and stories. The shark then attacks the boat, severely damaging it, which affects Plan B, luring the shark into shallow waters, after the engine blows up. Hooper's plan to inject the shark with strychnine fails after the shark destroys the shark cage Hooper was lowered in, but thankfully Hooper escapes to the seabed. The same can't be said of Quint though, as he gets eaten as the Orca sinks further. Brody alone forces a compressed air tank into the shark's mouth and shoots it, exploding the shark into many pieces as the Orca finally sinks. Hooper resurfaces, and the two swim back to shore using a couple of barrels. I suppose the main question to ask after watching Jaws is, does it deserve its place as a classic? For me, yes, but only for what it's done in the past. Unlike something like Alien, which I think holds up by today's standards, Jaws has aged badly. Its story is fine for a horror, but I don't think it's something that would work today. For starters, there's no one who protests against the violence towards sharks. You get the feeling that a remake today would have at least one person protest against the violence. It's understandable, but something that just wouldn't work now. The pacing is really good. It wastes absolutely no time getting going. But my problem with the story is that a lot of things are told to us rather than shown. We're told that the Brodys have come to Amity from New York and that Martin is afraid of water, but neither of those factors play into the main story. On the subject of characters, whilst Hooper, Quint, and even Larry have depth and development, no one else seems to, and this includes both Martin and Ellen Brody. Martin feels like a third wheel on the Orca until his heroic final moment, and Ellen seems to be going through the motions. I wonder if that's why New York is mentioned, because she'd rather be there than on Amity Island. You could argue that Martin's development is being afraid of water to going shark hunting at the end, but that's not enough for me. Horror-wise, I think a lot of modern films can learn from this. Visually, the effects may have aged badly, but the less of more mentality of the film builds up the worst possible scenario in your mind. It lets the imagination do most of the work. A lot of the time a body is dragged into the ocean, followed by the water turning red, and this is all thanks to Bruce. Bruce is the animatronic shark, and his legend is quite something. The shark is only seen on screen a short time because it kept breaking down and at one point sunk to the bottom of the ocean. It worked perfectly fine on land, but the salt water destroyed the insides. It's called Bruce after Steven Spielberg's lawyer, incidentally, and it's not seen until over halfway into the film, with only its fins showing before then. It's a brilliant piece of filmmaking working around limitations. Only once or twice do we also see dismembered body part, and that just adds to what our imagination is building up. An arm here, a leg here, a head there. That's all we need to see. Our imagination does the rest. The music is one of those things that makes the film legendary. That opening song has been used in so many spoofs and references, and everyone knows it. It's also the basis for that song. Oh, God, that's going to be stuck in my head for hours now. Are there any two more terrifying musical notes other than these? But why in the middle of the main theme does it seem to sound like the Golden Cockerel? As I alluded to earlier, sharks became vilified after the film was released. It was that effective on the audience. Sharks, though, don't attack people that much, and I like the attention to detail given that apparently many of these shark attacks just aren't documented. It's a neat piece of storytelling trying to convince you of a danger that isn't actually there. They also play up the fact that this particular predator is larger than normal at 25 feet. Fun fact, female sharks are generally bigger than male sharks, growing up to 21 feet, as opposed to males 13 feet in length. Ha! In your face, baby shark. There's no doubt Jaws' place in cinematic history, from the iconic music to the sense of terror people had going back into the water. Today, though, Jaws the movie, like Bruce the animatronic itself, is tired, dated, and not very impressive anymore. Jaws had 4 movies over 12 years and inspired many, many more afterwards. I respect what the film did, I just don't think it stands up very well anymore. Next up for the Film Review Open Challenge is The Departed. Until then, though, thank you very much for watching.